but the Luzhniki Palace of Sports, the venue for the Olympic competition. Now, there are 25 top nations here, and already from watching practice, it's obvious that this new generation of gymnasts are going for moves and combinations that are even more spectacular than we've seen before. Whether they can manage them at this level of competition, we'll have to wait and see.
Natalia Yurchenko, a 17-year-old schoolgirl from Rostov-on-Don, preparing for her first piece of apparatus, the vault. We see a young girl holding up the tariff sheet bearing a 0, which means that the vault about to be performed has not yet been recognized by the international body. An Arab spring onto the board, a backhand spring with a full twist. A good score of 9.75 for that vault.
One of the judges here, there she is, Olga KORBUT, the darling of the 1972 Olympics, now taking her job as a judge very, very seriously. And a chance to see Yurchenko's vault again. Very unusual, that Arab spring before she even gets to the springboard. A slower run to control that, and then a full twisting back somersault. 9.75 for her.
Metric bars, Natalia Yurchenko has had a very good start, about to begin her bar routine. From the same club as the famous Natalia Yurchenko. And in the background we see the famous Rostorowski, the coach of both of the girls, standing in, which is most unusual. Some release and catch movements adapted from the men's high bar. It's truly an experimental competition. Into the big dismount, a double twisting back away, a very, very difficult routine. Score of 9.75. And there we see Rostorowski being there in case on the catch of. And then a cast up to handstand. And another C difficulty. A Delchev to catch. Boriana Stoyanova from Bulgaria, peeping over the top of the beam and concentrating for her exercise. The famous Shapoznikova planche being demonstrated again. A beautiful flick-flack into straight-back somersault. The Bulgarians really made an impact at the World Championships last year, and it seems that they are determined to try and get in the medals at this championship too. So far, a very, very confident performance, but one can't help but notice that everything other than the jumps is in a backward direction. And the code of points, the Bible of gymnastics, does say that movements must be performed forwards and sideways as well. There we see another backward movement, and she must be preparing for her dismount. And a double back somersault. A lovely routine, well worthy of 9.5. And there we see 1979's world champion Nellie Kim, still the reigning floor champion from the Olympic Games.
She just used that Arab spring mount that she used in her vault. It was very difficult to land onto a 4-inch wide beam. but she did it with all the ease in the world. The music in the background, of course, not for the beam, that's for the floor exercise, and it can be very disconcerting, one of the other pressures that the gymnasts have to cope with. Very unusual move there, a KORBUT flip, and then wraps herself round and under the beam. And just held it on that double back somersault, but another beautiful routine from her. Apart from that slip, 9.6. And a chance to see that original move from her, the KORBUT flip, which KORBUT did, of course, on the asymmetric bars, and then wraps herself underneath and to that front support.
Young 14-year-old Elena Shushunova from Leningrad, preparing for her floor routine. She's coached by the famous Viktor Gavrychenko, who has a great deal to do with the training of the elite Russian gymnasts. A dramatic piece of music and a dynamic start. After all that movement, she still had the steam to perform a double back somersault at the end and score 9.65. Here we see the first tumble. You watch, she does a double back somersault with a full twist in the first somersault. The flick-flack to build up speed. Up she goes, full twisting back somersault, and another one on the end. Yurchenko, wearing boots, keeping warm, ready for her floor.